Medieval Chronicles presents. There are stories born not in palaces, but in the whisper of forests, in the anger of the oppressed, and in the heartbeat of those who dare to confront injustice. Among the shadows of medieval England, where power ruled with iron and hope hid behind fear, a legend took shape. His name was Robin Hood, outlaw, archer, rebel, protector, a man who bent the bow and the rules for a greater truth, that justice does not always live in the castle. Sometimes it hides in the woods. The England of the late 12th century was a land divided, with King Richard the Lionheart far away, waging crusades across distant sands. The throne fell not to a hero, but to ambition. Prince John, a ruler, hungry not for glory, but for gold. Beside him stood the Sheriff of Nottingham, the iron fist of oppression. Taxes soared, fields starved, and the law, once a shield, became a sword pointed at the poor. To speak against the crown was treason. To demand fairness was rebellion. And hope. Hope lived only in whispers. Yet legends are born from broken worlds. Robin of Locksley, a nobleman by birth, but a servant of justice by choice. Some say he returned from war to find his lands stolen. Others that he defied the sheriff to protect an innocent man. What history lost, legend preserved. Robin chose the people over privilege, declared a criminal, stripped of title, forced into exile within the ancient shelter of Sherwood forest. In that moment, Robin Hood died, and Robin of the Greenwood was born. A man made not by bloodline, but by conviction. Sherwood was no ordinary wood. It was a sanctuary for the broken, the exiled, the forgotten. There stood Little John, fierce as oak, loyal as stone. Will Scarlet, quick with blade and tongue. Friar Tuck, hood deep in faith and ale alike. And Maid Marian not merely a lover, but a mind sharp as steel and a heart unbending as truth. Together they were not criminals, but a counter-kingdom where the palace hoarded wealth. Sherwood shared bread, where the crown enforced silence. Sherwood sang, where law protected tyrants. Sherwood protected the poor, and so people whispered in secret, "If the king has forgotten us, then our king lives in the forest." Robin Hood was more than a bowman, he was a message. At shooting contests, he humiliated the sheriff's finest archers. At tax caravans, he struck like lightning, coins raining like blessings upon those who had none. Lords trembled. Peasants smiled for the first time in months, and the sheriff, red with rage, swore to break the ghost of Sherwood. Yet every trap failed. Every hunt returned empty. How do you capture a man carried by the will of the people? How do you silence a voice that lives in every hungry heart? Legends often forget this truth. Revolution is not born from hatred, but from love. Marian knew the court, its games, its poison. She walked between two worlds, silk and leaves, nobility and rebellion. Her courage fed Robin's fire, not as a damsel to be saved, but as a partner, a strategist, a mirror of his resolve. Love did not distract the outlaw, it strengthened the leader. For even revolutions need tenderness to remember what they fight for. The sheriff called Robin a thief. The nobles called him a traitor. And yet history asks, can law be righteous when it protects the cruel? Is obedience virtue when the throne starves its people? Robin Hood robbed caravans not for greed, but to correct a broken scale of power. Gold in palaces was a burden. Gold in the hands of the hungry was life. This was not crime. This was balance. The forest became a court where the crown could not reach, and justice, not authority, ruled the day. When King Richard finally returned, the storm broke. Books tell varying endings. Some say Robin was pardoned, others that he faded into quiet life. Some that betrayal led to his final rest in sacred ground. But no ending truly closes his story, for Robin Hood did not belong to one lifetime, he belonged to everyone. Wherever the powerful forget mercy, wherever wealth towers over hunger, wherever law serves the few instead of the many. Sherwood breathes again, and the arrow flies once more. Robin Hood teaches us a truth as old as humanity. Justice is not the obedience to power, but the defense of dignity. Sometimes the heroes of history are not knights in armor, but voices in the forest, outsiders, rebels, dreamers. And sometimes the greatest loyalty is not to the throne, but to the people who kneel beneath it. So when you hear the name Robin Hood, remember, he was not a thief. He was a mirror held up to power. A reminder that when the world forgets fairness, the brave remind it, by word, by act, or by arrow. If this story moved your heart, join our journey through the echoes of the Middle Ages. Subscribe, share this tale, and step deeper into history, where legends breathe and truth waits beneath the leaves of time. And as always, travel with courage, seek justice with compassion, and remember, sometimes the path to righteousness begins off the beaten road.